I've tried plenty of medications for my Tourettes, like in my tics over the years. Um, I will make some videos explaining them and how they affected me and like which ones worked, which ones didn't. Um, the first one I was put on for my tics was Haloperidol when I was 12 years old. This, like, I ended up having I ended up having a 2 week long attack, and about a weekend I had to be hospitalized because it just wouldn't stop. And there, my family doctor, she told me and my mom that she contacted a neurologist in Winnipeg and that she was told to put me on haloperidol. Immediately, like it's like the first day, like I was already having really weird like side effects from it. Like I was suddenly just very scared and I didn't know why. Like everything, I felt very like I didn't want to be left alone. I was like couldn't stop crying and just had no idea why. There was like, and I started like just feeling like I was being watched like already, and just felt very like I was in danger. I couldn't tell why. Like there was even this like, because I was only 12 years old, I was put on the pediatrics ward of the hospital, and there was this Mickey Mouse decal on the wall that was kind of old and peeling, and like I seriously thought like I was terrified of it. Like I thought Mickey was gonna come get me and like kill me in the night. So I didn't sleep because I was just too scared to fall asleep because something bad was gonna happen. I was sure of it. By the time I was like let out, like I was really discharged by the end of the week, I started already experiencing the hallucinations. I was having both auditory and visual hallucinations. Like at first, the auditory ones were just starting as very mild whispers. I couldn't exactly make out what they're saying, but I could tell sometimes there were voices I could recognize, sometimes there were voices I didn't. And just I could always hear like it's just like someone was whispering like in the other end of the room or something. Like, like it always sounded like it was very. I could just tell it was very negative towards me. I would see germs. If anything touched me or anyone touched me like made any contact with me or like my clothes or whatever, I would just see like a whole swarm of germs and bacteria just rush my body and just like and spread, and I would freak out and start trying to claw my skin off to stop them from getting to me. I started seeing what to me it looked like a mouse underneath my skin. Like it's usually like it looked like it was like between like my muscles and my skin underneath it. Like there's like a little like this thing would pump like about this big would like just look like underneath my skin would lift up and look like my skin was lifted, and then start running, and like it was like this little mouse like size thing that would like lump that would just like move across my body even though there's nothing there. Anytime this happened, I would grab whatever I was using or whatever like if whatever was close to me or whatever was in my hand and start stabbing it into myself and trying to like free this mouse. It got so bad that because it happened mostly while I was eating, which is weird, but it got to the point where I was no longer allowed to use like proper utensils. I wasn't allowed to use forks and knives. I had to use those little plastic tipped baby teething spoons so they don't injure themselves with, because that was what I could use. I couldn't do any damage with. Um, I was sure that everyone was like conspiring against me. All my friends, because the voices they get like pick up stronger. So like I was hearing my friends' voices, like talking about me, and I was like I'd be like in my room by myself, and I could hear like voices narrating like literally and talking about like literally everything I was doing, like every little step I took, every movement I made. Someone was like, there's people like conversing about it. People's faces started looking wrong, like they were like partially like made of plastic or porcelain and not fully skin. Their eyes looked like they would change colors. Their Some of their facial features would look like they were like reversed or just like wrong place, like or just like almost or like inverted, almost like their cheekbones would suddenly look like they're sunken in. Their eyes would look protruding or like way deep set. And like their nose just looked like it was maybe somebody, like it just, everyone looked like, no one looked right. No one looked like they were themselves. Like those, like really bad, like copies or just, or clones or something. So I began to think that everyone had been replaced and I was like under like some sort of like experimentation from like the government or something, because, or like I was still at the hospital and just like, because I'm obviously crazy now because I'm hearing all this stuff. I'm seeing mice under my skin. I'm seeing germs. After about a month of that, I ended up in the hospital again because I had after another week-long attack, I had to be hospitalized again until it stopped. So there's another 2-week-long attack. My doctor decided to double my dosage of haloperidol, even though I was clearly having really bad side effects from it and just not handling it well. And it was obvious, and it was not helping at all for my tics. And so by then, like, I was like, I just got worse. Like, every time that I ended up in the hospital 2 more times, like, one at the end of and once a month for 4 months. And each, because I had another 2-week-long attack each time. After a week, I had to go back to the hospital. And each time my dosage got doubled. After the 4th time I was in the hospital, my mom was like, told my doctor, she's like, okay, no, she's like, I'm not leaving here until like you call the neurologist right now and make an appointment and schedule an appointment for Charlotte immediately, because this cannot go on. Like, we have to, like, I was like bad. Like, I was constantly like trying to find ways to harm myself. Like, I would steal lighters from people to try and burn myself. I'd steal like razors to cut myself. I was very suicidal and depressed. I stopped talking completely. Like, I just didn't talk to anyone. If anyone tried to talk to me, I just cry. I forgot I couldn't read or write anymore. Like, I could write probably at the level of a kindergartner. Like, it looked like, even like, if it looked like a 5-year-old wrote it, not a 12-year-old. I couldn't tie my shoes anymore. I became very narcoleptic. I just like pass out like randomly for like anywhere from minutes to like hours, like anywhere I was. Like, I could be like in school, in class, like at home, like as I play, like and pass out like while watching it. Um, I just I covered my bedroom walls and windows like in layers of thick black plastic garbage bags, like to try and block out whoever was watching me, so they couldn't see what I was doing anymore. So like my whole room was just blacked out. If I did talk, it was only about wanting to harm myself and how I should die. If anyone told me to do anything, like I had absolutely no control over like what I did anymore. Like, if I was told to do something, like I did, even if I didn't want to, it could be like, even if I knew, like I was trying to say no because I can't talk, but like I was just like, it's almost like I was programmed or being controlled, like like against my will. I gotta try and fight back of like in my head, but I just couldn't do it. I was constantly hearing and seeing stuff. I was always thinking that people were going to get me. I thought I was going to die, or someone, like, there's people like plotting my death at all times. So yeah, so my mom was like, that's why she's like, this cannot go on. Like, this isn't gonna last. Like, she's going to like harm herself, or else like this is also just it's not the medication clearly is not working. Like, and so what from what something that used to be like so difficult and taking so long to get done, because 4 months already apparently waiting for appointments to get scheduled for me. My doctor called the neurologist here in Winnipeg and was on the phone for 2 minutes maybe, and she had an appointment for me in 2 weeks, which that was pretty quick and didn't seem very hard to make be able to schedule, especially when we've been fighting with her, or like she's been saying that she's been sending this neurologist like referrals like constantly throughout the past 4 months, and it's just really hard and it takes a long time because she's so busy and everything. Just a quick phone call, 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks later, I'm down here in Winnipeg. I'm seeing my neurologist, my children's neurologist, and yeah, sure enough, I'm diagnosed with Tourette's because I have tics and stuff, and I talk from not paying attention or not focusing on how fast I'm speaking. I talk super fast, and nobody can understand me. Like, I am like I stumble over my words and stutter and like and stuff like right now because I'm like struggling or focusing really hard to slow down. But when I'm not, before I learned how to do this, like when I was 12, when I had no control, so everything sounded like this, and I was talking really fast. So yeah, so as soon as I started talking, she's like, "Whoa!" She's like, "Hey," she's like, "Rapid speech, got that?" She's like, "That's," and then she started going over, started going over things, and yeah, it was I had Tourette's, and then she started explaining Tourette's to us, and like I looked at him and like made sense about why my dad was the way he was, and yeah, sure enough, my dad definitely got diagnosed with Tourette's the same day too, and but when we asked about the haloperidol and told her like why, like told her how it's happening, she's like, "Wait," she's like, "Why is she on haloperidol?" And my mom was like, "Well, our doctor said that she called you and you suggested to her 4 months ago." And she's like, "I definitely did not." She's like, "I never heard." She's like, "I have like until 2 weeks ago when she called me for the make the appointment, I had never heard of her. She had not, I never heard of Shyla, and she definitely had not contacted me, and that doctor had not contacted me at all." So she just put me on haloperidol for, I don't know, like even getting kept me on it for 4 months. Like even though like it was making, it's like literally like gave me like very extreme reverse effects. Like everything that it should help with like someone who is like schizophrenic or has like serious psychosis, it did that to me. Like I was pretty much like I was in full force, like full like psychosis at all times, like for 4 months straight. And she knew this. She saw it, and she kept me on it. And the amount I was taking in one day was more than an adult should take in a week. So I was immediately taken off. Thankfully, within 2 days, I was no longer having the hallucinations. I was no longer like feeling like I was constantly being watched and like people were conspiring against me. I could talk properly again, except for like when I was like prompted or forced to, like without crying. I was still pretty tired. I still fell asleep for it took about a week before I stopped falling asleep places. But yeah, like I was feeling like me again, which I hadn't felt like it in a long time. Like that, like I've not had like an easy or like or like normal life at all. Like it's been like messed up, but like that is the most messed up, most fucked up 4 months of my life. Like even now, still like 26 years later. When we got back to Flin we asked my neurologist or my family doctor like why she lied and put me on haloperidol when the doctor had never heard of me, and her excuse was she assumed Flin was too small of a community for anyone to have Tourette's, so she thought she was doing the best thing for me by putting me on hardcore antipsychotics that were doing more harm than good and keeping me on them. And but yeah, that's when I found out like family doctors don't really know anything about Tourette's, so they're not very helpful in situations with even wondering stuff like that. Like you definitely need to see a neurologist for that. Like because even now, like when I see my doctors or bringing up, they're like, yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Like I'll call your neurologist. I'm like, thanks. Yeah, like with even like after like within a week of like being off of the haloperidol, my tics even got better. Like because they made my tics so much worse. Like I haven't had any more 2 week long attacks. Like they last a couple days now, but like it's a big difference between like 2 weeks and needing to be hospitalized compared to like 2 to 4 days. Um, yeah, I was because of that I was scared to take meds for my Tourette's again for a whole for 10 more years until I was 23. I finally like agreed to try another one, and that's when I started my journey of trying to like find a medication that actually worked for my tics and stuff. But like that's this it's getting very long now, so I'll end it here. And now the next video we'll tell you about my experience, like what it was like for me to on Pimozide, the second medication I took. Thanks for watching. Bye.